So it's great. And then at Expo, we will do another networking event like we did this year. I hope a lot of you are able to join us there. We will be doing something again at Expo next year that we will have a networking portion. We will have a class portion that will have CEUs. So obviously more information will be coming for that, but it will be in February in Nashville. So next slide, Shannon. So at our group meetings every month, it'll just be 30 minutes. We know everybody is busy. We don't want to have you think, oh gosh, it's Tuesday, I have to get on. We want you to think, yes, it's Tuesday, we have a 30-minute call. I'm super excited. So, but if for some reason you can't join us that day, we will record it and send it out. Just let myself or Shannon know, and we can get it sent to you after the call takes place. We will be doing a monthly topic. You know, that'll go out beforehand. We'll have a 15-minute kind of chat about whatever the topic's going to be, and then a 15-minute at the end to do like a group share on that topic, and whatever, you know, if something interesting or something has come up in your conversations with your mentor or your mentee, that will give us some time as a group to talk about that as well. So next slide, Shannon. So outside of that, we would hope that you would meet with your mentor or your mentee at least once a month, you know, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever works for you guys. You know, you can decide if you want to do like a coffee chat, you can do an afternoon, you can do an evening, whatever works for you guys, Zoom call, you know, whatever you guys decide. There's not any kind of set expectation for that, just that you'll meet at least once a month. We will be sending out like some topic points, icebreaker stuff. You will be getting stuff from me in the next couple of days with some additional information as far as, you know, an icebreaker kind of thing for your initial call with your mentor or your mentee, just to kind of give you a jumping off point. We will send out some other things. I think next month we're going to be doing like a personality test if you guys want to do that with your mentor or mentee, just some like kind of fun stuff to get you chatting and maybe get in a direction that might spur a further conversation. So I think we can go to our next slide, and I will do just a brief thing about Hope. I am so excited that Hope agreed to be our kickoff speaker. I don't know if any of you have taken classes from Hope before or been around Hope, but she's awesome and amazing, and I am super excited to hear from her. And I am not going to steal any more of how she might introduce herself, but I'm just going to turn it over to Hope, and we will go from there.
Thank you, Amie. And now I'm blushing too. Yeah, so first of all, I'm honored to be here today. So I got the pleasure of meeting a lot of you in Kentucky in person, and I left that meeting that day and I was just super excited about this program. So when Amie talked to me a couple of weeks ago and asked if I would be willing to talk to you for a few minutes today, it was an obvious yes. And like I said, it's a yes, but I'm actually honored to be here with you ladies. So, Amie and I had talked about what this would look like. And one of the things she said was, you know, was there a mentor in my life who kind of changed my world? And my immediate answer was yes. So I'm going to kind of mix that answer to that question with my bio. So my immediate answer was yes, in that I had a father who was in the industry. Like I literally grew up in the industry. So my dad, you can see from my company name, Dave Pomeroy Signature Training, Dave Pomeroy was my dad. And he worked for manufacturers. So are all of you familiar with Hearth and Home Technologies? We all kind of know that company. Okay. Back in the day, it used to be Heatilator fireplaces. And then obviously Hearth and Home bought them out. But so my first recollection of not just this industry, but literally of a fireplace was my sister and I were like 3 and 5, and my dad ran the overnight shift at the Heatilator plant. So, you know, he was working hard, trying to support a young family. My mom trying to support him. We would make him lunch, which when you start at 8 p.m., lunch is like at midnight, 1 a.m. Well, she's not going to leave a 3 and 5-year-old home alone. She would pack us up in the car and we would go take him lunch at 1 a.m. in the morning. And he would carry me around the manufacturing floor. So OSHA was around. OSHA started in 1970. This was like 1976. So not the same regulations. So I was safe, but I was father safe in that he didn't let me run around the floor, the manufacturing floor, but he carried me around. And so that was like my first vivid memory of this industry. And then throughout the years, I just grew up in the industry. He was always a part of manufacturing. When I got to the point that I was trying to make a career for myself out of college, he had already started his own consulting company. So as a company, we do training, we do facilitation, we do consulting. So that's kind of my history, and also my answer to Amy's original question of, did you have a mentor in your life? So my answer was clearly yes, my father. But last Tuesday, I was on an airplane. My husband and I were flying from Phoenix to Newark, the Newark airport. So we were visiting New Jersey. And I was, they have, most of the airlines now have the free entertainment. So you can do free movies or TV shows. And for me, I don't normally like documentaries. Like if I'm going to watch TV, if I actually have time to watch TV, I just want to like decompress. I just want to be entertained. But I came across this documentary, and it's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. And it's actually, they spell it out F-U-C-K, but I'm not going to say that word. But it's actually a book. So I recognize the title because it's a book. There's an author named Mark Manson, and he wrote that book years ago, and I read the book years ago. And it's a really cool book. And just, it talks about when we're in today's society with like social media and everything, everyone's life looks amazing, right? They're always on vacation. They're always eating yummy food. And so when we're surrounded with that in society, it makes us feel like we all know none of that's true, right? We live broken lives. We don't, things are a struggle. But when we see everything else around us look so falsely great, it makes us feel like we're the oddball out and that we have things going on in our lives. And we're really not. We're actually the norm. So his whole book is about how you just kind of take that into consideration. So I decided to play that because I'm a nerd, and like I literally found a shirt at a thrift shop one time that said the book is better. So I always like to read the books, and then I always like to watch the movies and like see what they did differently. So I started watching that, and the Amie and I's conversation about who my mentor was in the back of my head as I'm watching this. And at the end of this documentary, Mark talks about how he had a friend pass away, and that really made him like kind of take a look at his life. And when you're presented with death, you have to figure things out. And so my original answer is my dad is my mentor, but I realized that from his death came a blessing in that because he was no longer around for me. If he was alive today, I would have been solely focused. I would have had a great mentor. It would have been awesome. But because he exited too early, I then allowed other people to step in. So my real answer is I have a good 4 or 5 people that have really made a difference in my life. Another gentleman named Charlie Quayle, right after my father died, called me up. And at the time I was assistant to dad, right? Like I did all his admin stuff. He was the trainer. Charlie Quayle called me up and he's like, hey, this is like literally a week after the funeral. Will you come do lean training with my company? And at that point, I wasn't even sure if I was going to carry on with the business or not. So, people like that. So Charlie became one of my good mentors. And there's a good, it was a blessing in disguise because I had multiple people then that had an opportunity to speak into my life when that opening opened up. So that led me to the thought of, okay, if my answer to Amie is I have a good 5 people that I would consider to be my mentors, what is it, like what element made those people my mentors and not the other 500 that I've met over the course of my life, right? So like, what is the common factor that took a normal, you meet a lot of people and sometimes the relationship just kind of fizzles out. Other ones develop into a really cool mentee mentor relationship. What is the common factor? So I did come up with one thing, but before we talk about that element, I want to tell you another story. And I want to make sure, can I ask a huge favor, Shannon? Can you take the screen share off? Because you'll understand when I tell this story. I want to see people's faces as I tell it. So if you don't mind, then I can have the whole screen of people pictures. So I told you that we were on a plane last Tuesday. My husband and I were flying to Newark. But I'm going to tell you now where we were going and why we were going somewhere. So if I met you in Kentucky, we probably met and I would have told you that I didn't have any children, right? My husband and I have been together for 25 years, good quarter century, not half century, quarter century. We've known each other and it's been awesome. So about 2 weeks before last Tuesday, we're on the flight last Tuesday. 2 weeks before that, my husband got an email and it just said urgent in the subject line. So he thought it was spam, right? Or, you know, some sort of subscription. You guys get emails like that all the time. So he just passed it, did his normal emails for work. And then he decided to go back to it because I've been kind of telling him, hey, you got to unsubscribe to these things. Take the 3 seconds, unsubscribe, you won't get them again. So he clicked on the email to find the unsubscribe button, and there was no unsubscribe button. And so he looked at it, and it was from Emily Bird. And the email said, my name is Emily, and I am trying to find my biological father. And I did an ancestry test and matched to Soleil Baker as a first cousin. So my husband he said his heart beat a little bit, and because Soleil Baker is our niece. Gary's sister, my husband's name is Gary. Gary's sister is Soleil's mom. So, but he did not recognize the name Emily Bird. So he gets on the phone with his sister, and he asked his sister, he's like, hey, can you pull up Soleil's copy of her ancestry report? And sure enough, when they looked at Soleil's report, she matched as a first cousin to Emily Bird. So, and Gary's still not, you know, it still feels kind of weird, right? So we're not on social media. My husband and I got off social media personally. We use it for business, but personally we got off it a while ago. So Gary and his sister go to social media and they find Emily Bird on Facebook. And through her profile, they figure out the mom's name. So then they go to the mom's profile, and it was a Jessica Kiefer. And my husband said his heart just like fell out of his chest, because sure enough, my husband dated this woman about a year before we met. So I'm going to kind of fast forward the story a little bit. Emily is his 26-year-old daughter. So I am now a stepmom, and it gets even better. Once we connected with her then, and obviously we've done a paternity test and everything, but once we connected with her, she has a 4-month-old grandson. Well, a 4-month-old son. So now I have a 4-month-old grandson. So one day my husband became a father and a grandfather, and I became a stepmom and a step grandmother. The mom, my husband and her dated for about 3 weeks, and my husband left to go to the shore for a week. And when he came back, the mom had just kind of disappeared. They had worked into the same building, but weren't on the same team. And so this is before cell phones, right? So my husband asked, and they're like, oh, she moved to Philadelphia. But at the time, without cell phones, there wasn't a big enough interest on either person's part to like try to find each other. And she, for many, many years, lied to Emily and had told Emily that someone else was her father. And the heartbreaking part is this person wasn't a part of their life. So not only did Emily not know who her father was, but she thought her biological dad didn't want anything to do with her. And just recently, she happened to find a negative paternity test for this other man that the mom had been hiding from her. So that prompted her to reach out and find her real dad. So we were on a plane to go meet Emily and Braden, and we flew across country. We got to spend a day with them. It was absolutely an amazing experience. So why would I tell you guys that story on a women's mentoring call, right? So I'm going to try to circle back to what I talked about earlier. When I look at the people who have been mentees or mentors to me, and mostly I've had a lot of really great mentors, there's one element that makes the relationship successful, and that is the idea of vulnerability. So that was not an easy story. I know some of you will, but that was not an easy story for me to tell someone who I don't already have a personal relationship with. But for this to work, vulnerability has to happen. Now, traditionally, vulnerability sometimes feels like a negative word. I mean, if you look it up in the dictionary, it literally says to expose yourself to risk, right? To expose yourself, to be vulnerable, to expose yourself to physical or emotional harm. But lately, vulnerability has kind of been trending, and I love what it's doing because it's taking a different look at vulnerability, and it's just being open to the idea of showing people who you are. We're not on that social media thing where everything looks great and everything looks perfect. These conversations between each other and as a bigger group can be phenomenal. But we have to like really present ourselves for who we are and accept each other for who we are. So I want to kind of end my little part of this by just saying, if there's one thing that's worked for me, and the one thing I really want to encourage you ladies to do is, let's just, as we pair up and as we're together as a group, let's just be open and vulnerable and genuine. And that, I think, will really make a difference and really make this a valuable program for all of us.
Mhm.
Okay, thanks for listening. My heart is still beating, by the way.
That was awesome. I love it. Welcome to the Young Grandma Club.
I know, right? Thank you. I still
Yes.
haven't figured out my grandma name, so if anybody has a really good one, let me know. Like,
Well, I'm a Mimi, so you could be Mimi. That's
okay,
a good one.
I like that one.
Yes.
I'm a Mimi. I'm a Mimi of
Here
two.
we go.
Okay, I love it.
So if I just became a yaya.
Oh, there you go.
Yaya.
Okay. I like
Um,
it. Thank you, ladies.
Yes, thank you, Hope. That was awesome. Yes. So
Wow.
yeah, that was amazing. So I think that's such a key point to just, it's, when you're meeting with your mentor, your mentee, just be you. Like, your hair doesn't have to be done, your makeup doesn't have to be done on, you just be you. And that's when I think you get the most, you learn so much, and it's just such a valuable experience. So I think that's just, be yourself. It doesn't have to be perfect at any time at all, because none of us are perfect. So and yes, I love this quote. So alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. And I think as a strong group of women, that is absolutely true. So we have a couple of minutes. So what I would love to do is have everybody go around and we can just jump in and go for it, since everybody's screen is going to look slightly different as far as the order of it. So just your name, maybe where you work, and a fun fact about yourself, and we will take it from there. So who would like to start? I'm just gonna, let's see. I'm gonna go with Hollywood Squares, and we'll start with Maddie, and then
Which puts me on the spot. That's cool. It's all right.
Yeah.
I'll go first. That way I'm not the last person waiting. So obviously my name's Maddie and I work for Keystone's Fireplace and Stove, which is owned by Anderson's Chimney Sweeps there. I've been doing this for about 8 years. I greatly have a good passion for the industry, really enjoy the fireplace world. A lot of great people in there. I got 4 kids, 3 dogs, 3 cats, beach kind of person, love my tattoos. So I'll just throw that out there, but
awesome.
about exciting for me, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Maddie, for letting me put you on the spot like that. All right, so we're just gonna open it up like.
I'll go
for it.
next.
Okay.
I'll go. My name is Joan Nutting. My husband and I run Machino's Patio Barbecue and Fireplace in Springfield, Missouri. I've been in the industry for 10 years. I love this industry. I opened our Grill Island division in our store about 8 years ago, and it is a blast. I have a daughter who now works with us, who is actually part of the mentoring group as well. I am her mentor, so God for, bless her on that. I am a JoJo, so I'm not a Mimi or a Yaya, but I have 2 grandsons, and so I'm JoJo to them. And funny story is their mom, I gave up for adoption when I was 20, and her family found me. So they found me when she was 15, and so I've been in her life for 23 years now, and the kids all know me, and it's Hope's story just made me smile so much, because was such a great experience meeting her when she was 15. So congrats to Hope. But yeah, I'm very excited about this. I think we have so much to offer each other, so I'm just totally pumped about it. Thanks.
Joan. All right, who wants to go next?
I can go next.
Can you hear me?
Oh, now
Okay.
everybody went on mute. Yes.
This is Carol Tweed. I'm an owner of Mace Energy Supply in the middle of rural Heaven, Maryland. We have 11 children, and we have 28 and a half grandchildren at present. So it's a big family. And ironically, 0% of our children want to take over the business. So we're going to be here till we're dead, I guess. I don't know how that works. I'm not excited about that. So at the moment, it's kind of a race as to who gets to die first, because then they don't have to deal with the craziness afterwards. So that's it. And my grandchildren call me Nana. So which is kind of sweet and easy for little ones to figure out how to say. But I do love the hearth industry. I married into the hearth industry Tad's mother, that's my husband, his mother hooked us up for basically I went to visit her one day and I had been she was an elderly woman and I just always looked in on her to make sure she was doing okay. And I would always say, hey, is there, anything that I can do for you? And she always was, nope, I got this all figured out. And then one day she said, well, actually, I have something I need help with. And I was all excited because I love to serve and I love to help. And so I asked her what that was. And she said, well, my son Taddy needs a wife. And that was awkward.
That was awkward.
So I met her son Taddy and he said, hey, why don't you just come to work for me? And that'll be easier because I was a business coach at that point. And so I was thinking, well, if anything, I have this client out of the deal. Great. So in the end, I'm now Mrs. Tweed. It took us about 2 years to decide to go on a date. And then after he asked me to marry him on our first date. And I halfway through it and I said yes. And we were married 2 weeks later because the HPBA show was in 2 weeks. And instead of renting 2 hotel rooms, it would be so much easier to rent one. So that's me.
That's awesome. Thank you, Carol. And I think so everybody doesn't try to go at once. Maybe I'll just go around my Hollywood squares and we'll just go that way. So Jillian.
Hi, I'm Jillian. With Anderson's Chimney and Masonry and Keystone's Fireplace and Stove. Maddie and I work together. She's below me on my Hollywood squares. I've been in the chimney business for about 10 years now, and we just opened a retail location a year and a half ago. So the retail side of it's really new to me, but I really enjoy it more than I want to admit to Rick that I like it. Because I was very anti doing this. There was no way we were going to buy or open a retail location. When I am not a part of Anderson's and Keystones, I travel the country and photograph firefighters.
Awesome.
And that's my crazy thing that I like to do.
Cool. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Okay, next, Beth. You're next on my Hollywood squares.
Beth Pryor. I work at Hearth and Home Technologies. Started when it was Heatilator. Been there, it'll be 35 years at the end of this month. And Hope, I knew your dad. And when he came in as our trainer from the floor, so I worked with your dad many years when he was there before he went to Copperfield. And I have 4 grandsons that they all call me grandma. And they live in Virginia and Maryland. So I get to see them once in a while. So what I like to do is outside work in the yard and stuff like that. So that's him.
Awesome. Thanks, Beth. All right, Mallory.
My name is Mallory Bettis. I have been in the industry for, let's say, a grand total of like 4 months. My father owns AAA Home Services and Aaron's Plumbing. He's been in the industry since 1977. So I grew up in the industry, but I haven't been a part of it personally until very recently. So this is a huge change in my business. I actually come from the grocery industry. I ran bakeries for the last 17 years. So I can run a business. I've got that experience. So it's more of bringing that on board and see how we can grow our homegrown business here in South Texas. So that's about it. I'm not married. I don't have any children, so I can't be a nana. But one thing I do enjoy with my boyfriend, and he has a son, so we go camping a lot. So that's about it.
Awesome. Thanks, Mallory. All right, Loretta, you're up. And you just muted yourself. There you go.
Am I on now?
You are.
Okay, good. My name is Loretta Dolan. I live in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And I've been in this business for about 30 years. And when I had been working for distributors up until I turned 60, and then I started my own rep firm. And it consists of me, and that's all. But it's still mine. It's still my business. And what I do is I rep Valor Fireplaces, Forshaw, and Rasmussen. And it's been a wonderful thing. When I left the distribution part of it, I thought my life would end. And today I would send them a thank you card because it's worked out so well for me. And just to say one thing about being vulnerable, mine is not being technically oriented. I can do relationships all day long. I can sell okay, but man, when it comes to thermocouples and stuff, I just really glaze over. And you'd think after all these years that I would have absorbed it, but it just doesn't sink in. So, you know, if you ever want to go after me, ask me a technical question. But thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Loretta. All right, Cindy.
Loretta, I am the exact opposite of you. I can do technical all day long. Sometimes the relationships are a bit of a struggle for me. So there's my vulnerability point. Hi, everyone. So this is my third. I've been with the program since it started. I work for Napoleon Wolf Steel. I've been here for this is my 11th year now. So I just feel this was a great program to start with when the original concept first came my way. So that's why I've been a part of it for so long. I still talk to my mentor when I first started, and it's just got a lot to offer. I can't say enough about it. And I've dragged another person in with me who you will meet later on. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
Excellent. Thanks, Cindy. All right, Christetta, you're next. My squares.
Hi, I am Christetta Miller. I am from Pineville, Louisiana, which is in the middle of the boot. But right now I am in Virginia Beach because we are on vacation because my youngest and last just graduated from college. So I have a full empty nest, two very independent daughters who are blazing their own trails in the world there. We own Louisiana Fireplace, my husband and I do. We bought it 8 years ago. And probably the most interesting thing about that is we bought it off of Craigslist. So from a family that had the business established for about 40 years, and it was the situation where none of the children wanted it and didn't know how to sell a business, and they put it on Craigslist. And so here we are 8 years later.
That's awesome.
Figuring it out, and we've grown from the two of us to a staff of 8, and love it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. All right, Nicole, you're next.
Hey, I'm Nicole. My husband Justin and I have a fabrication shop that builds like chimney caps and things like that. And then as of this quarter, we're buying out his parents' business. It's a hearth shop about 45 minutes west of Atlanta that has been around since the 60s. So we're just kind of updating everything and figuring it all out. So that's kind of the business side. As far as personal, I have an 18-month-old daughter, and we just finished building a house. So just kind of trying to get everything organized and landscaped and keep her clean. So
good luck with that.
I know.
Well, thank you. All right, Nadine, you are up.
Hi, I'm Nadine. I've only been with Napoleon and Wolf Steel for about 3 months now. I actually work as an e-learning developer, so I develop online courses for any new products they're bringing out. So new fireplaces, all that stuff. To be honest, I still don't really know anything about the products I'm building courses for, but I'll slowly learn.
Thank you. Okay, Morgan.
Hi, my name is Morgan. I work for Hancock Chimney Service. This will be my 6th year working here. My dad works here. My brother works here. My boyfriend works here. So my dad's been working here for quite a few years, so I was kind of familiar with it, but got brought in, and so I'm in the office to handle like scheduling some of our marketing. And yeah, Tara, I work with Tara. In my free time, I'm a mom to a 4, almost 5-year-old boy. And I just found out that we're having another baby. So
Congratulations.
thank
Very
you.
exciting.
So we'll be busy. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being here. Yes, I think you have a pretty great boss. I know I'm a little biased, but I think you have a pretty great boss. So
We get along. We mend on the mom thing. So
yeah. Excellent. All right, Laura. Oh, you are muted still. Oh.
All right, sorry, I'm doing this on my phone and picking up my son from
You are
school.
fine.
So I'm Laura. I work for Acme Stove in Rockville, Maryland. I started actually as a school librarian. That was my degree, master's degree in library, and then I met my husband and started working part-time for the business there on the summers. And then I left the education system because it just got a little crazy, a little intense, and the hearth industry is a lot less intense than education. And it was actually a lot of fun being able to work with the family. So I work with my husband and my father-in-law and my mother-in-law and his brother, and there's a cousin there too. It's everyone is working there, and it's fun. I have my 6-year-old that I'm picking up from kindergarten, and I have a 3-year-old in preschool right now. And okay, vulnerable thing. I am a total nerd, and I get to take my kids to AwesomeCon, which is a convention for science fiction and stuff this June. And I get to nerd out with the little ones in like little costumes. I'm very excited about that. Very cool.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, Tabitha.
Okay, so I work at WNC Chimney Solutions. My stepdad owns the business. This is very out of my comfort zone. I came from the medical field, but wanted something a little bit more flexible for my kids' schedule and something that I would also enjoy. It's hard going from somewhere where you knew everything to where you just don't. I'm currently hiding in my stepdad's office because I never know what one of the technicians are going to say. Not always G-rated around here. I'm a mom to 2 kids, 8 and 6. And whenever I'm not at work, I'm at some type of ball field. They do all the sports. So I'm excited. We do like sales and installation here, but we're working on doing like a hearth shop as well. So that's exciting just to see where that goes. So I'm really excited about doing this. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Rebecca.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Neller. My husband started the Chimney Doctors here in Jackson, 1978. And bought the stove store in 83. We got married in 85, and a week later went to the, well, it wasn't HPBA then, but the show. And that was my introduction to the hearth industry. But I've stayed out of the business until about 5.5 years ago. I came in. Family business, 2 of our kids, and our son-in-law works here, sister-in-law, brother-in-law. Yeah. Mostly family. But I've only been here 5.5 years, so I feel like I'm just learning stuff I should have learned a long time ago.
Well, thank you for being here and welcome. I mean, you're seasoned, but welcome. So let's see, Jen.
Hi, Jen Schick with Napoleon. I'm actually on the sales side, been with them 5 years. So I feel like Cindy and Nadine would be really pleased to know that I actually took one of the online courses that they put together today. So I feel like I got to put that plug in there for them. So I'm in sales. So normally, I'm like usually on, but today I'm not, just my vulnerability moment. I live in North Texas, and I'm sure a lot of you have heard on the news what happened in Allen, Texas. My my daughter works at that outlet store and she was there on Saturday. She's okay physically, but it was pretty terrifying, of course, for a mom to not know how her daughter is doing for a while there on a Saturday, and then for her to kind of deal with everything that happened on Saturday. So I'm just not quite myself, but I just do very much believe in the power of women, lifting up other women. Wasn't even sure if I could make it to work today, but honestly, just being on this call with y'all has just put a real big smile on my face, and I'm just looking forward to spending some more time with y'all. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. I'm glad your daughter's physically okay, and I'm thankful for you being here today. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Karen.
Hi, everybody. I'm sorry I joined you all a little bit late. I couldn't find my link, but thanks, Shannon. I appreciate it. This is my second career. I've been in the hearth industry. I joined my husband 22 years ago after a 20-year career in software financial consulting. So took a big shift there career-wise, but I kind of got into it. I'm also a GERK, which if you don't know is a girl geek. So if you're a nerd, we have our own term, we're GERKs. I have a 27-year-old son who lives in California. I'm in Massachusetts, but he's moving back next month. So after 5 years, so I'm very excited. I don't have any good stories except at HPBA this last month, 2 months, whatever. I ran into a woman I had gone to college with, who I don't really remember from college, but we were both there at the same time. She was a couple years different. We're both engineers from Lehigh, and she was just getting into starting working with her husband at his hearth business. So very interesting that it was, I mean, just totally out of the blue. It was kind of like, oh, what do you do? What do you do? And then in a couple of minutes realized we had a huge amount in common. Stories that we can never share with anybody that big back to but anyway, it was interesting running into someone else who was making the plunge into the hearth industry from an entirely different industry.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Okay, Taylor.
Hi, my name is Taylor Tolbard. My parents and I operate WA Tolbard in Maryland. I used to be a Spanish teacher, and then I joined my parents about 5 years ago. So I've been working with them ever since. Personally, I got engaged in December, so that's exciting. And then we have a dog, a Rottweiler named Zeus, and that's about all we do.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's see. Okay, Rose.
I'm Rose. I work at Dixon. I am not technical. I listen to my boss when she's on calls, and just to hear everything, I got really interested and wanting to learn more. And when she mentioned this program, and she had been the last year, she said it really helped her, and I was just excited. I'm married. I have 4 adult children. I have 10 grandchildren, and I'm Nana Lemon because my last name is Limon. So our grandkids have other Nanas, so they name us Nana and Papa Lemon. And I'm looking forward for this. I'm excited because I'm kind of socially awkward. Although my husband and I do a lot of volunteer work, I'm very introverted. As of right now, I'm talking on the phone. I can't see you. I'm turning red. So I'm looking forward to working with you ladies.
Well, welcome, Rose. We're glad you're here. Okay, Tara, you are up.
Hi, my name is Tara. I've had the honor of Amie being my mentor for the past year, and it's been great. I work for Hancock Chimney Service. My parents started the company 43 years ago, and now they have retired and I've taken it over. So I've been running it for the past few years. I work with Morgan, and it is still a family business. My aunt is the office manager. I have multiple cousins that work here, and it's nice and close-knit and just learning as I go. It's not what I went to college for or anything, but just kind of worked out that I would take it over, and it's going well. But I love learning from all these other women, and it's just nice to have the insight. I have 3 children, and so hearing from other women that have children or grandchildren and how they deal with working and working around schedules and all of that, and just asking questions. How do you do this? What do you do on sick days and stuff like this? And it's just been really helpful. And Amie, you're just wonderful. So thank you for getting me into the program.
Thanks. Excellent. Okay, Madonna, you are up.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Madonna. I work at WNC Chimney in Western North Carolina. Tabitha is actually my sister-in-law. Our husbands are brothers. I am currently getting a wonderful iron infusion because since Tabitha used to be in healthcare, she made me go to the doctors, and I am actually having a hysterectomy in about 2 weeks. So that is very exciting. I've been in the industry for almost about 2 years, and it was something that was completely new to me. I've always done customer service, whether it be, working for I used to work for Old Navy. I used to work for Comcast. So this was, I didn't even know like chimney sweeps was like a thing when I moved here, it's much, much bigger than I could even imagine. And I absolutely love it.
Well, thank you for being here, even while you're hooked up to machines. We appreciate it. I'm glad you're here. Nice to see you smile. So hope everything goes well for you in a couple weeks. And we're glad you're here. All right, we got a couple more. Ashley, you are up.
Hi guys, my name's Ashley Wood. I'm with HPC Fire. I've been with the company for going on 3 years now. I'm one of the customer specialists. Well, I'm the customer special supervisor over here. Couple fun facts about me. I am currently in the process of purchasing my first home all by myself, so I'm pretty proud about that. I am big into anything outdoors related, like the kayak, camp, do all kinds of stuff like that. No kids, it's just me and my dog Rudy. So that's a little bit about me. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Now, according to my Hollywood Squares, I think we've gotten anybody. If there's anybody that I missed, please unmute yourself and let us know. But I think we've gotten everybody according to my screen. Okay. Well, I know we ran a few minutes over, but I really thought it was important for us to introduce ourselves to each other and kind of get to know each other just a little bit. Be on the lookout tomorrow for an email from me with some icebreaker stuff, some additional information about each other, things like that. So before we go, does anybody have any questions or comments before we go? All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us today. I want to thank Shannon for helping me get all this together. I want to thank Hope. Amazing. Was not expecting that story, but welcome to the club. That's awesome. But yeah, so any questions, feel free to call me, feel free to email me. I am always available. It seems like I work-life balance, so I work from home, so I'm always available. But anyways, thank you guys so much. Our next call will be the second Tuesday at 3 o'clock in June. We will send out a Zoom invite, send out some information before we get there. But if not, happy almost end of the day, or if you're on the Central or West Coast, happy middle of your day, and we will see everybody soon. See you later, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.